I will be discussing the history of tattoos, their change over time, their meanings, and their acceptance, and how common they are into the work field today. Some argue that the origin of tattoos and their existence goes back to 1200 years BC. The purpose of the tattoos back then, especially in tribes, was a rite of passage. It was to tell a story, and it was a very important role and tradition. Both men and women had tattoos with different designs, which could mean a different number of things, including different skills, marital status, age, status. Oftentimes, animals such as jaguars, snakes, were used as tattoos to prove a symbol of strength. One thing from the origin of tattoos was that tattoos were a sign of deviance, specifically in women. There was even a misconception from men that thought who the penetration of the needle would deem them to be homosexuals, and women were deemed to be promiscuous even in today's day. According to some medical experts, suggest that tattoo predicts a pathological sexuality. As we know, the life of tattoos was brought into the more modern days, and the origin began in New York City as the first professional artist, Martin Hildebrandt, who set up a tattoo shop in the mid-19th century for Civil War soldiers for identification purposes. It is around this time where the first electric tattoo machine was invented in 1891. Interesting fact about that was that machine was inspired by Thomas Edison's electric pen. During that time period, it was not common at all for people to have tattoos unless people were in the military, and was used for identification purposes in case lost, injured, or killed in action. People at that time were very conservative and were generally not ones that had tattoos. During this time period, there was a major breakthrough in the tattoo world in the United States with a female by the name of Maud Wagner. This photo was in 1907, as you can see, she is completely covered in tattoos from her chest area and both of her entire arms. Wagner made a huge impact, not only because she was the first female tattoo artist, but the time period in which she had so many tattoos. During 1907, females did not nearly have the rights and freedom of self-expression during that time. For Wagner to get tattoos, and not just small ones, but to have her body completely filled with them, was a very bold move. Even in today's day, where tattoos are more accepted across the board for self-expression, a female with that many tattoos around her chest and both arms would definitely be the topic of the room. One of the reasons why tattoos developed a negative connotation during our society was because the people that began to get tattoos and promote them, a lot of them were gangsters, bad people, and used their body as a canvas to promote their gang and represent their territory. Just like in tribes and the origin of tattoos, getting a gang tattoo is not just for show, but it is a rite of passage. Getting jumped into a gang, or as they call it, putting in work, earns individuals tattoos of the gang. And over their time period, they get more and more tattoos. Essentially for them, It tells a story about their life. In today's day, gangsters also use tattoos with hidden meanings. When other gang members see such tattoos, that lets them know that that individual means business because those tattoos were earned and that person is hardcore. That is a huge contributing factor as to why tattoos have developed a negative connotation. Gangsters were not worried about getting tattoos and possibly not getting a job. They didn't care what people thought about them, which is why many people in society were raised believing that tattoos were only for bad people and gangsters. It was never seen as a method of self-expression. Now, jumping into tattoos in where we at today in our society, we have come a very long way. Not even in my lifetime would I have thought that getting tattoos would be a form of expression or even art. And now it is safe to say that generally across the board, society has generally accepted that to be a fact. There are some exceptions of people in the work field that are not allowed to have any visible tattoos. However, tattoos are now being accepted on all job places across the board. You have businessmen and women. You even have law enforcement officers showing tattoos. In my opinion, I think that is quite ironic considering that tattoos were perceived by people to be gang-related or bad. Yet now we have law enforcement officers who are held to the highest of the standards among society with visible tattoos in uniform. As a society, we have accepted that, and that is the norm. Medical practitioners are also ones that have visible tattoos in the work field. I too can relate to the perception of tattoos over my time. Now when I see somebody with tattoos in the work field, it just seems normal to me. Just another person in our society that is expressing themselves, using their body as a canvas and telling a story, having an image or a writing that means a lot to them, or possibly a struggle in their life with no negative connotation. With the movement and acceptance of tattoos nationwide, I am confident that the majority of all members of society will have tattoos, and there will not be a negative association with tattoos, even though there are still some negative associations with tattoos. With tattoos now being accepted into the work field, I think that opens a lot of doors for art and self-expression. I've gone to numerous job places where people have piercings, different colored hair, and tattoos that shows the movement and acceptance of self-expression and art in society and in the work field. There's still room for growth, and we are on the right track for a non-judgmental self-expression acceptance society. According to a journal article by Becca Oken McTactum called Corporate Inc., titled Perception of Tattoos in the Workplace is Changing, she talks about how visible tattoos in the workplace can be seen across the board, including business owners, hiring professionals. In her article, she talks about, according to the 2012 poll, that 1 out of every 5 adults in the United States have at least one tattoo. That would make it a 14% rise from the previous poll in 2008. And according to the 2015 study in the International Journal on Innovative Research and Development, the findings were that 86% of professionals between the ages of 21 and 35 did not think visible tattoos or piercing hurt job prospects, which goes to prove that as a society, we have come to accept tattoos in the workplace.